Meet the hero of our story, a young boy named Eita Kidou, who is fighting bravely against a mighty dragon with mysterious powers until he wakes up. In truth, he is just a typical high school student who wants to enroll in the National University School of Medicine. His childhood friend Chua comes to his home, and then they go shopping. Back at home, Chua asks him about a famous girl in his class, Masuzu Natsukawa. Every morning Eita starts his day with an anti-love oath. At school, he asks his friend why everyone is in love, who tells him that he is just different. So Eita explains that his parents divorced for their lover and left him alone. Eita's homeroom teacher rearranges their seats, and by a stroke of luck, the girl with silver hair, Masuzu Natsukawa, the one Chua was talking about, is now assigned to seat next to Eita. Everyone in the class gets jealous of him, but he ignores them and decides to focus on studying. Now, he daily faces other students' jealousy, but still decides to focus on studying, and just like days passed, and one day his fate changed when Masuzu invites him to walk home with her. Eita doesn't believe her and thinks she has some kind of ulterior motives, until she reveals that she likes him, and makes the situation more complex, forcing him to leave the class with her. With their arm linked, they walk their way to home, but Eita is still not convinced and has his doubts, so takes her to the parks where no one sees them. Masuzu admits that she lied to him, and before she reveals the truth, a gust of wind lifts her skirt, and Eita gets a chance to see something very crazy, which leads them off topic for some moments. Now back to the topic. Masuzu reveals ever since she arrived at school, she is continuously getting dating proposals from boys, and grew tired of this, and to stop this shit, she needed someone to act as her boyfriend, and as they both believe in anti-love, so she asked him, but he refuses until she brings out a notebook, and starts reading the story from it. Eita recognizes it's his notebook, and wonders how did she get it. She tells him she found it inside the book that she brought from an old bookstore. He remembered he also sold some of his old books to that store. He tried to grab it back, but she says she already has a backup on her computer, and might be leaked on the internet. By blackmailing him, she asks again to pretend her boyfriend, and he has no choice but to obey her. The news of their relationship spread quickly, and Eita's childhood friend Chua confronts them their way. Chua asks Eita why did not he tells her about Masuzu, and by revealing some of Eita's secret, she tells Masuzu that she needs her permission to date him, so Masuzu introduces herself, and then they continue their walk, leaving Chua in frustration. Later at home, Chua tells Eita that she will be popular in no time, and get a boyfriend. After school, Eita tries to convince Masuzu, so he could at least tell Chua about their relationship, but she refuses, saying that it wouldn't be secret if he tells her. Before going, she asks him to bring Chua to her. The next day, Eita takes Chua to Masuzu, who is waiting for them. Masuzu invites Chua to join the club that she made to help her to become popular. By showing Eita's fantasy notebook, she tells her that the notebook helped her to become popular. She tells the book belongs to her first lover who vanished, so she creates this club to research the book and help others to become popular. But Chua still refuses to join the club until Masuzu tells her that Eita also gonna join the club. Chua agrees to join the club. After this, they chose a name for the club, which is a club for the young maidens to recreate themselves. Later at the club, Masuzu tells them they need a target. Chua suggests a senior basketball ace, but Masuzu advises first impressing his brother, who is in Eita's class. Masuzu, after reading Eita's notebook, tells Chua that people in the bands are more popular, especially guitarists, but Chua can't play the guitar, so she gives her a case to pretend one. Later, as they plan, Chua enters Eita's classroom with an empty case, and acts like a guitarist, while the target boy is also there, but instead of impressing him, Chua ends up embarrassing herself in front of other students, when they ask her to play the guitar and runs away. At the club, while Chua went to the bathroom, Masuzu tells Eita she thought Chua might quit after the incident. Eita explains that in middle school, Chua was expected to be a kendo star, but had an accident and lost her goals. The club is now her new focus, and she won't quit. Then Masuzu tells Eita that as her boyfriend, she wants him to not look at other girls while he is with her. The next day, the new plan to make Chua popular is to expand on her past life. Chua thinks she was a princess in her past life, so Masuzu tells her that act as a princess battling her past life enemies, and promises to make a script for her. Later, as Chua enters Ida's classroom and begins to act out the princess role according to Masuzu's script, Ida wholeheartedly supports her, playing along with the act. Their performance successfully captures the attention of other students, drawing them into the scene. However, despite their efforts, the students perceive it as a comedic skit, rather than a serious act. Later, by agreeing with Masuzu's advice, Chua puts a letter in Sakagami's shoe locker. With hope in her heart, Chua anxiously awaits his response. Surprisingly, Sakagami comes to respond and asks her to watch movie together. That night at home, with a sad face, Chua asks Ida if he is okay with her dating someone else. Ida reassures her they created the club for that reason, and he also sees her as a sister. But Chua's emotions get the best of her. She lashes out and runs away, crying. As Ida ponders the situation, memories flood his mind, taking him back to the time when Chua returned home after her accident. It was a period of hardship, as it coincided with his parents' divorce, leaving him alone. During that time, he learned about Chua's inability to participate in sports due to her injury. Recalling the conversation they had, where Chua asked about his life goal, and he made a promise to study diligently and become a doctor, hoping that one day he could heal her injury. The next morning, Ida gets up early to spy on Chua's first date with Sakagami. When he arrives at the spot, he meets with Masuzu, who has the same idea but a different purpose, so they decide to watch Chua together from the distance. Masuzu tells that Chua is wearing the clothes which she wore back her 6th grade. As time passes, Chua anxiously waits for Sakagami. When he finally shows up with his friends, and they witness a different side of him, Sakagami and his friends start making fun of her, mocking her for her appearance and belittling her feelings. Masuzu, who had prior knowledge, reveals the truth about Sakagami's behavior to Ida. Despite Masuzu tries to stop Ida, he decides to stand by Chua and rushes to save her. To protect Chua, Ida embraces a delusional act claiming fantastical powers. The act gathers a crowd. Sakagami and his friends assume he might not be mentally stable, so they decide to leave them alone. As they walk away, Ida seizes the opportunity to confront Sakagami, demanding an apology for his hurtful behavior towards Chua. But Ida ends up getting beaten badly. As the situation intensifies, one attempts to harm Chua, but someone throws a pole at her. Reacting swiftly, she picks up the pole, turning it into a weapon to defend herself and protect Ida. One by one, Chua defeats them. Then she apologizes to Sakagami, saying she lied to him and has no feelings for him. After that incident at school, now everyone knows about Sakagami and Masuzu is absent, but while Ida is on his way home, Masuzu grabs him from behind. As Masuzu is about to leave, she turns to him and kisses him. She tells him to remember the kiss, claiming to be the first one he has kissed. Later at home, Ida finds Chua in his bathroom and is taken aback when he discovers Masuzu in his kitchen. He tries to hide both of them from each other, hoping to avoid a complicated situation. However, his efforts to keep them apart eventually fail, leading to an awkward and tricky situation. Days later, Ida finds a love letter in his shoe locker and shares it with his friend Kaoru, who hints that it might be from Chua. At the club meeting, Ida suspects Chua of sending the love letter. Despite his suspicions, Chua tries to enjoy her time with Ida, hoping to create a special moment between them. However, their moment is cut short when Masuzu returns, interrupting their bonding time. Then they discussed how to deal with the hall monitor, and Chua suggests including more member. After school, Ida finds another love letter in his shoe locker. He hides it from Masuzu during their walk home. When Masuzu tries to uncover the truth and blackmails him with the notebook, Ida stands his ground, refusing to reveal anything. Just then a blonde-haired girl shows up. Masuzu becomes visibly shaken. The girl tells her that she come here to check on her, and assures Masuzu she won't report about Ida. To make Masuzu jealous, she kisses Ida in front of her, and before leaving, she reveals herself as Mana, Masuzu's little sister. When Ida asks Masuzu about Mana, she refuses to talk. The following day, Chua falls ill, and her mother asks Ida to take care of her. As he looks after her, he begins to realize that Chua couldn't have been the one who wrote those love letters to him. The next day, Chua recovers and arrives at school with Ida. However, his day takes an unexpected turn when he finds yet another love letter in his shoe locker. The letter instructs him to meet someone on the rooftop. As Ida goes to the rooftop, he encounters a girl named Himika Akishino, who confidently claims to be his previous life lover. Before he can process this startling revelation, Himika embraces him in a tight hug, right in front of Masuzu and Chua. When Masuzu and Chua ask him about what relationship she has with Ida, she tells them she is his ex-girlfriend. Later, Ida finds Himika at their club, and Masuzu reveals that she invited her to join. However, Chua is hesitant about the idea, feeling that Himika's interest lies solely in Ida. Masuzu asks Himika to write a poem to prove her dedication to the club, but Chua insists on doing practical training as well. While following Chua's instructions, Ida and others engage in practical acts for the club. However, their training is interrupted when they are caught in the act by the hall monitor. Ida and the others find themselves cleaning the pool as their punishment on their day off. Suddenly, Mono arrives in a car, delivering unsettling news. She informs Masuzu that she couldn't convince their father, who orders her to return home immediately. Masuzu agrees to return home, cutting ties with Ida. She tells him not to show his face again. While Masuzu goes to change, Himika approaches Ida with her notebook, confessing that she wrote the poem to join the club. However, Mana snatches the notebook from Himika's hands and starts reading it aloud, mocking her efforts until she cries, prompting Ida to intervene. Unfortunately, he is restrained by Mana's bodyguard. Masuzu returns and stops Mana. Ida stands up to Mana when she tries to interfere. Angered, Mana orders her bodyguard to attack Ida, but Himika defends him and asks Mana to leave them alone. Witnessing Himika's courage and receiving support from their friends, Masuzu decides to stay with the group. She also makes Mono apologize to Ida and Himika before leaving. Later, Masuzu approves Himika's membership. With a new member, the club excitedly plans a summer trip. However, their plans are shattered when the pink-haired hall monitor, Ai, shows up and disrupts everything by shutting down the club. Later, Ida finds himself sharing a bed with Himika in the nurse's office. Before he can understand, Masuzu and Chua arrive, and he hides under the curtain, while Himika opens the door and lets them in. Masuzu found him, but before she could lift the curtain, the hall monitor, Ai shows up again. Ai sternly tells the club members to disband and cease acting as a club. Both Masuzu and Chua casually agree and tease her about her inability to find a boyfriend. In a surprising twist, Ai claims she does have a boyfriend, who is a college student and heir to a big corporate group. As the club shuts down, Ida decides to attend summer classes. To his surprise, he finds Ai in the same class as him, along with his classmate and Ai's childhood friend Kaoru. At night, Ida is happy to focus on his studies, but Masuzu blackmails him into meeting her. Ida meets with Masuzu. She tells him to reopen the club. They need to find Ai's weakness, and orders Ida to confirm that the boyfriend Ai talked about is fake. The next day, Ida thinks about Masuzu's order. After class, Kaoru invites him to have dinner with Ai, and is planning to make them closer. Ida asks Ai about her date. She hesitates, but seems willing to reveal the truth. However, Chua suddenly appears and starts putting pressure on Ai to confess. Soon after, Himika also joins the scene. He realizes it's all set up by Masuzu. Feeling cornered, Ai ends up telling more lies to protect herself. Ida believes Ai wasn't lying about her boyfriend, but Masuzu still has doubts, and insists on continuing the investigation. In class, Kaoru informs Ida about the upcoming fireworks festival, and asks him if he's going to the fireworks festival, and who he's going with. Ai is excited that she might get a chance to go with him, but Ida replies that he's not going, and plans to study at home instead. Kaoru suggests that the three of them go watch a movie together on their day off. Ida shares the movie outing idea with Masuzu and the girls. Masuzu proposes a double date plan, asking Ida to make Ai fall for him to capture incriminating evidence. Chua joins the plan. The next day, Ida and Chua join Kaoru and Ai, and go watch the movie, while Masuzu is tailing them from behind. Inside the theater, while watching the movie, Chua and Ai get engrossed in a heated argument. They find themselves supporting opposing love rivals in the movie, which sparks a fiery debate between them. As their disagreement escalates, Ida tries to intervene, but the atmosphere becomes tense. Masuzu observes the situation. After the failed attempt to take pictures, Masuzu admits her mistake, and Ai tells Ida not to be concerned about the argument during the movie. Later in class, Ida discovers a notebook, and when Ai arrives to retrieve it, she accidentally mixes it up with his in a hurry. She takes the wrong notebook and quickly rushes away. Ida picks up and starts reading. Ai realizes she has the wrong notebook. In a panic, she hurries back, and Ida finds it's just like his own delusional notebook. Ai thinks he couldn't find who wrote it, but remembers she already wrote her name on it. Upon returning to the class, Ai pretends the notebook isn't hers, but it's too late. She chases after Eita, who runs away with her notebook. She manages to catch him. Ai started crying, saying now he thinks she is weird, but Eita tells her he would never do that, and said what's wrong with having delusion fantasies. He also has his and started his delusional act. As Ai sees Eita's delusional act, she begins to calm down and feel more at ease. In a sincere moment, she thanks him, feeling guilty about her delusional notebook. He accepts her request. The next day, as Eita accepted Ai's request, he accompanies her to the local festival. They spend time together, enjoying the festivities. When the fireworks are about to start and as they reach their secret spot and watch the fireworks, Ai surprises Eita by revealing that she is his childhood friend from kindergarten. Memories from their past come flooding back, and Eita remembers her. To his astonishment, Ai informs him that, according to their childhood promise, they are also engaged to each other, and ask him to stamp the marriage proposal. As Eita asks about her boyfriend, she admits that it was an obvious lie, and after hearing her cool line, Eita runs away. Ai reopens the club and tells them that will also be joining as an advisor. With no other choice, Masuzu accepts her as a member. Ai tells Eita she will definitely get his stamp. Under Ai's guidance, the club starts its activities. However, Masuzu shifts their focus as Ai officially joins as the 5th member. They become an official club and plan their summer activities. Everyone agrees to go to beaches Hamika suggests because she has never been there, and Chua asks Eita to go shopping with her. The next day, Chua meets with Eita who was waiting for Chua. She plans to go on a date with Eita, disguising it as a shopping trip. However, her plan is thwarted when Masuzu unexpectedly shows up, and they get into an argument. Ai and Hamika are also there and also want to be with him. At the mall, amidst the arguing, Masuzu and Chua ask Eita to choose swimsuits for them. As they go to change, Ai shows up and drags Eita to choose a wedding dress for her. Eventually, Masuzu and the others arrive, and everyone comes together, and Eita ends up spending time with everyone. On their way home, Masuzu asks Ai about the club funds, and they meet Eita's aunt, Siko, who asks about Eita's girlfriend. When Masuzu introduces herself, Siko sees through the act and questions Eita about which girl he truly likes the most. At Eita's house, they gather to discuss various ideas about how to collect funds for their beach trip. Masuzu, Chua, Ai, and Hamika share their creative suggestions. Then, Siko offers the girls a chance to save money on the trip by entering a marketing contest for her new game, and intentionally excludes Masuzu. She also explains why she thinks Eita and Masuzu's relationship is fake. Siko asks Masuzu to join them and announces that whoever wins the contest will become Eita's girlfriend. As everyone prepares for the trip to the beach, Eita observes Ai and Hamika becoming close friends. Upon returning home while he is talking with Chua, she gets a call from Ai. This realization makes Eita aware that Ai, Hamika, and Chua have formed a strong friendship. But it also highlights that Masuzu has been left out. The long-awaited beach trip day has finally arrived, and the group sets off with excitement and anticipation. To make other jealous, Masuzu link arms with Eita. As Eita and Masuzu board the train, they try to act like a couple to deceive Chua, Ai, and Hamika, but the girls see through their charade. Upon arriving at their stay, Hamika is thrilled to see the beach for the first time. They all head straight to the beach and spend the day together, enjoying various beach activities, playing in the waves, building sandcastles, and simply enjoying each other's company. Before going to bed, Chua, Ai, and Hamika decide to give matching keychains or cell phone straps to Masuzu as a symbol of their club and a token of gratitude for her role in creating the club. At night, Masuzu confides in Eita about not fitting in and her doubts about winning the contest. Still, she decides to participate and shows him the promise in his notebook with Chua. Masuzu thanks him and says she will set him free after the contest. The next morning, while Eita is taking a walk and enjoying the view, he is accidentally run over by Mana. Then, as Eita and Mana have a short conversation, Eita explains what happened to them, and Mana tells him more about Masuzu. During their talk, Mana realizes that Eita likes Masuzu and thanks him for that. Eita asks Mana about being with a liar, and she hints that only her accomplice can handle it. Eita immediately rushes and arrives at the contest. As the contest begins, Chua bravely steps forward as the first contestant. In front of everyone, Chua musters the courage to lay her feelings bare, and declares her love for Eita. Her heartfelt confession echoes through the crowd. As the contest continues, Ai and Himika are disqualified, and finally Masuzu's turn arrives. Masuzu appears sad and apologizes, revealing her recent breakup. Eita can't stand to see Masuzu sad, so he comes forward. He tells her that their relationship doesn't have to be fake, and he genuinely wants to be with her, and confesses his love for her. After telling Masuzu that they have the worst personalities together but deserve each other, the couple shares a kiss on stage as the other girls look on from the crowd. The next day, Eita's aunt tells him to make the girls hate him so they can move on. Eita tries to make Himika hate him by revealing his past life as a villager, but it only makes her love him more, and his first attempt fails. Next, Eita goes into Ai's room with the intention of tearing up the marriage proposal, but as he starts to do so, he ends up accidentally stamping it instead. His actions inadvertently create a comedic and unexpected situation, and the second attempt to make Ai hate him also fail. Then he finally meets Chua, who criticizes herself for being small, and tells him she always wishes to be like Masuzu. Overwhelmed with emotions, she starts crying, and in a surprising moment, she steals a kiss from Eita. In the end, Masuzu's sudden appearance interrupts the moment, leading to a heated argument between her and Chua, indicating another love battle. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more videos like this. If you have any suggestions or questions, feel free to leave a comment below. Until next time, take care.